Hello family, thank you for tuning in to this video. Look, what I want to do is break down the Mackay property market and what are some of the hottest suburbs right now. So if you're an investor, stick around. If you're a home buyer, stick around. I believe you're going to get some tremendous value. Mac City, let's dive in and have a look. All right, before we dive in, I just want to give the business a little plug here. So my name is Troy Simbasani. I am the owner and head of research of Capricorn Life Buyers Agency, which is actually one of our subsidiary brands under the Life umbrella. So we own Capricorn Life Buyers Agency, which services the Rockhampton, Mackay and Bundaberg area, so central Queensland. We obviously own Tropical Life Buyers Agency up in North Queensland, servicing Cairns and Townsville. And then shortly we'll be expanding into the Southeast Queensland region under another brand called Sunshine Life Buyers Agency, looking at the Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast and Brisbane market. But look guys, we put this content out. No one really does this sort of content. A lot of buyers agents sort of keep a lot of the suburb information close to their chest, whereas me, I just give it all away because I just don't want people out there making the mistakes that I have in the past in these marketplaces, and try and give people as much inside information about the marketplace before they dive in, because regional Queensland can be hard to navigate and it can be quite costly if you get it wrong. So this is community service content, guys. It's for you. Look, go out and give it a crack, but if you feel as though you are someone that is reluctant to pull the trigger, you're not too confident moving forward, you're geographically challenged, feel free to reach out to me and the team. More than happy to see if we might be able to add value to your home buying or investment journey to get you into the marketplace, buy a good asset for you, and go from there. But yeah, guys, that's the business, and let's get going. All right, now for us to establish what are the hottest suburbs in the area, the data we're going to be looking at to do this is demand side data. So demand side data on the buy side and demand side data on the rental side, and that should paint a really good picture as to what's hot and what's not in the area. So one of the first demand side metrics we're going to be looking at is the median price change. So what have certain suburbs done over a period of time, probably in the last 4 months. We're going to be looking at in the last 12 months to see how each suburb is growing, and obviously the ones that are growing the most probably are the most hottest, and the ones that are growing the least probably have the least demand in them. We're going to be looking at how fast properties are selling for across certain suburbs. Obviously, the velocity of how fast things are selling will determine how strong demand is in that area. We're going to be looking at how high the online search interest rates are for each individual suburb. Obviously, where people are looking at on realestate.com and domain can really determine where people are interested in buying. So that's going to be a good reflection on demand in the marketplace. Then we're going to look at the rental side of the market, where median rent's growing and what suburbs, and then how fast and then how slow. And obviously we're going to get an idea on what are some of the hotter rental suburbs, rental search, where people are searching for online as well to rent, and obviously the vacancy rates across each individual suburb. So we're going to break down all this data, and so we're going to paint us a really good picture of what suburbs are hot and what suburbs are not. Let's dive in. All right, now let's take a look at how each individual suburb is performing across Mackay in the last 4 months and over the last 12 months. So obviously that's going to give us a really good picture on the demand side of the market, and obviously the suburbs that are growing the most have a tendency to have the most demand in them, and obviously the ones that are growing at the least tends to reflect that demand isn't as high. But obviously it's good for investment as well. So if you're identifying markets that are growing quite well, then you potentially know that if you can get into that market, you can capture some of that upside. So we can see here that almost every suburb across Mackay continues to rise and have grown by 5% or more. Beaconsfield has outperformed the market, growing by 7.9%. So when I refer to growing by 5% or more, I'm talking about that as a 12-month period. So a 12-month price change. Majority of the suburbs, or basically all of the suburbs across Mackay, there's only a handful of suburbs that are sort of a bit more rural in nature, like Marion, Mariani, etc., that aren't included, Serena, etc., that are not on this list. But this is the bulk of the Mackay marketplace here included in this list. So we can see here Beaconsfield has outperformed, and every suburb has grown by 5% or more. So Mackay across the board is a really hot marketplace, and people that have got in 12 months ago obviously doing quite well, and the market is growing. And we can see here that over the last 4 months, there's certainly been still a lot of growth in the marketplace. It hasn't lost steam there towards the back end of 2023. But everything in red basically are the more hotter suburbs. So Beaconsfield red hot at 7.9% per annum. North Mackay red hot at 6.8%. Slade Point red hot at 7.2%. And everything in orange, we can see here, it starts to, get into that warm stage where, most of them are growing at around that 6% per annum. And everything that's sort of yellow is the more cooler markets growing at around that 5% per annum. But yeah, Beaconsfield seems to outperform there. Look, I'm not actually surprised that Beaconsfield has outperformed. It's one of the more established suburbs in Mackay, upper middle class market as well. A lot of good quality stock, quite central as well. You're close proximity to the beach, and you're not too far from the CBD. Also, sort of back smack bang right in the middle of Mackay. So I can really see why that's been in strong demand from a buy point of view, and it's really outperformed the marketplace there. But look, guys, I always say if you are looking to invest in this market, go in and do individual research on each of those suburbs. Don't treat this information as gospel. Obviously, this is good data, but at the same time, go in and do your own individual research, because as you can see here from a house price point of view, they have all different types of house prices. Obviously North Mackay is a lot cheaper than Beaconsfield. As you can see there, Beaconsfield is a lot cheaper than somewhere like Shoal Point. So you need to go in and determine, if you've got a budget of, let's say, 450 or 500, maybe Beaconsfield isn't the best value for money. Maybe it is somewhere like Black's Beach. Maybe it is Mount Pleasant. Maybe it is View. So do your own individual research and compare each asset, with each other and each suburb against each other. But yeah, guys, that's a breakdown of, where property values are going up the most across Mackay. All right, let's dive in and look at the next demand side metric, which is days on market. So basically, we're going to be looking at how fast things are selling across each individual suburb in Mackay. And obviously, the lower the day on market, the higher the demand. The higher the day on market, the lower the demand. So we can see here that Orally appears to be selling the fastest, well below the average days at 19. East Mackay is currently taking the longest to sell. All right, let's have a look. So we can see here that Orally, 19 days sitting in at first, very red hot. And actually everything that's highlighted in red here is very red hot. And majority of the suburbs that are red hot actually have days on market that sit under 30 days. So they have a 2 in front of them. And that just basically means that most of the properties across, these suburbs that are red hot are going under contract within the first, 1 to 4 days of going onto the market. So stock is turning over and transacting very quickly in the marketplace. But Orally, very interesting to see that one sitting at number 1, particularly when Beaconsfield just before we've highlighted that Beaconsfield had the highest median house price growth over the last 12 months, but it's sitting at 4th. But that's even sitting at 25, which is still a very hot marketplace. So look, guys, I suppose the insight this sort of tells us is that a large portion of the Mackay marketplace is red hot, and properties are selling, certainly within the first 4 days of going onto the marketplace. And then properties that are highlighted in orange here that have a 3 in front of them, and obviously East Mackay has a 4 in front of it, probably the most coolest of the suburbs. Even they are still, selling within the first 1 or 2 weeks of going onto the market. So Mackay overall is a very hot market when you can see that each individual suburb is transacting well below 30 days. So interesting, guys. That really gives you a breakdown of how fast things are selling. So if you are looking to buy in this market, whether you're investing or home buying, I think you have to be absolutely quick with getting in and getting in your offers, having all your ducks in a row, because things are moving very, very fast. Okay, let's have a look at the next demand side data, the online search interest rate. So where are people looking at on real estate and domain in terms of suburbs, and that's obviously going to give us a reflection on where people are interested in buying. So realestate.com and domain collate this data and gives it to us for free. If you jump on the realestate.com app, you can actually find this information out on the app itself. So jump onto the suburb profile tab, and it's going to give you these online search interest rates. But it's really, really good data and very insightful. So we can see here that North Mackay currently has the highest online search interest rate for an individual suburb Mackay, and Oralee has the lowest. Good old North Mackay, look at that, 1,800 unique views per property in North Mackay, and that's sitting at first place, red hot, followed by Rural View at 1,500, followed by West Mackay coming in at third at 1,500, and South Mackay coming in at 1,400. So North Mackay is really outperforming the market here by the best part of 400 or so people per property interested in buying in that area, or just browsing the internet looking in those areas. And North Mackay, a very interesting suburb actually. A lot of older stock in that suburb, so there was a lot of gentrification happening there. A lot of older cottages around that $350,000 to $400,000 price point, but very close to the private hospital, very close to the CBD, very close to the harbour. So I can see why a lot of people might be looking at that as a very convenient location, and from an investment point of view, very low entry point in a very well located suburb. So I can see why that's certainly been very high in terms of online search interest rates in Mackay. But yeah, guys, have a look through this list and you can see, where people's eyeballs are going on their mobile phones and desktop computers when searching on realestate.com and domain. And obviously, look, guys, this isn't an accurate reflection of the demand side data, a demand side of the marketplace, but I looked at it as more an indicative information or data around the demand, because not a lot of these people will translate into actual buyers, but when you start to see these numbers, it actually gives you a good indication of where people are interested in buying anyway. But yeah, guys, have a look at this data, and again, go in and do your own individual research about each individual suburb. But you can see there, everywhere in red is where the eyeballs are right now for Mackay. Okay, so we've looked at things from the buy side of the market, so where people want to buy in Mackay, and obviously the different demand side data in relation to the buy side of the market. But now we'll look at the rental side of the market and see what the demand looks like on the rental side. And we've got a bunch of demand side metrics we want to look at to measure what are some of the hottest rental suburbs in the area. So I think if you're an investor, I think this is really insightful as well. So we can see here that Rural View has the highest median rental growth in the last 12 months at 8.2%. Slade Point recorded the lowest rental growth at 3.5%. So we can see here Rural View 8.2, and it actually went from 497 as a median 12 months ago to now sitting at around $538 per week. So sitting at first place there, and that's followed by Beaconsfield, which had a 7.9% increase, and followed by Blacks Beach, which had a 7.3% increase. And then number 4 was East Mackay, 6.6. Mount Pleasant, 6.5. So we can see here that majority of, basically all of the suburbs across Mackay, rents are growing, and then obviously there are certain suburbs that are outperforming that. But very interesting to see Rural View sitting there at number 1. Has a lot of really good quality stock in there, so I can see a lot of those properties certainly demanding a premium. 8.2%, very, very strong rental growth and very good yields and cash flow. If you are an investor looking to get into this market, I think those will be quite juicy rental yields. I think that rental yield based on the median house price would probably be sitting at around that 5.8%, maybe even 6%. But Mackay, look, across the marketplace, rents are going and are certainly moving, and that gives you an indication on if you can get into this marketplace and rents are continuing to grow, that's just going to continue to push up your yield over the next few years. And what I like about a lot of these numbers, particularly the ones with the 4 in front of them, they still have a lot of wiggle room to move. So that means those rental yields will become juicier and juicier, because the rent per week as a portion of one's household income is probably still well below 30% right now. So a lot of people aren't really feeling the heat in terms of rental cost or rental cost of living in Mackay, because Mackay does have a lot of people there that are employed in the construction and mining sector that have really good household incomes. So I can't imagine they're feeling the pinch just yet. And even when you look at a lot of the median house prices across Mackay and you benchmark that to other areas like Cairns, Townsville, probably it's ahead of Townsville, I'd say right now. But if you compare it to even Rockhampton and Bundaberg, I'd probably say, you know, across the board in most suburbs across Rockhampton and Bundaberg, almost every suburb in Mackay is basically $20 to $30 cheaper right now to rent in. So Mackay has a bit of catching up to Rockhampton to do, as well as Bundaberg, I believe. So there's plenty of wiggle room in these rents to grow. But you can see there that Rural View is outperforming, followed by Beaconsfield, followed by Blacks Beach. Very interesting. Now, the next demand side metric we're going to be looking at for the rental market is vacancy rates. We're going to dive into each individual suburb's vacancy rate, and obviously the lower the vacancy rate just goes to show that demand is very strong in that area. So we can see here that Beaconsfield has the lowest vacancy rate in Mackay at 0.6%. And then Slade Point currently has the highest vacancy rate at 1.8%. So we can see here, yep, Beaconsfield 0.6%. So that is a very tight rental market, guys. There's not a lot of stock there available, very slim pickings, and you can certainly see how that will put pressure on median rents when there's such a low supply of stock available for rent. Everything that comes onto the market has to go on at a premium given the limited amount of supply. So Beaconsfield sitting at number one, followed by North Mackay at 0.7 at second. That's also followed by Oralee at second. Actually, that's tied with North Mackay at 0.7, followed by Rural View at 0.8, followed by West Mackay at 0.9, and then followed by Imeo at 1.2%. So there are many suburbs, basically all that are in red, that are sitting well under the 1% vacancy rate. So these are suburbs where it's very slim pickings for rental stock. So I suppose the insight there for investors is that locations and suburbs where there is a tight vacancy rate has a tendency to really push up rents. Obviously, the lower the vacancy rate, the lower the velocity of stock coming on the market. That means that rents have to go up because each property is going on the market and renting for a premium. But then rental growth and vacancy rates tend to be a prerequisite to house price growth because a lot of investors also get attracted by those vacancy rates as well as those high rents, and then they create the high yields, and that brings the investors in the marketplace. They can also come in and prop those up, but also that means that home buyers, when they start to see, vacancy rates really low, a lot of them sit on their properties and they withhold it from going to the market. So someone in Beaconsfield might go, oh, I wouldn't mind selling my house, but then they look at the vacancy rate and go, oh, actually there's nowhere for me to rent if I were to sell my house. So I'm just going to hold my property. So that then withholds stock from the marketplace, and that continues to put pressure on house prices because not a whole lot of new stock coming onto the market for sale because people are scared that there is a low vacancy rate environment across the marketplace. They don't even sell. So it's one big circular reference. If vacancy rates are low, that means rental stock's low, and then that can put pressure on house prices over time. But yeah, guys, very interesting to see there that a lot of suburbs are red hot in terms of vacancy rates. And if you are an investor, as I said, don't just jump into these suburbs willy-nilly. Continue to do your research and see which ones stack up for you as an investment proposition. Okay, the last demand side metric we're going to be looking at is online search interest rates. So similar to where people are looking to buy, we're going to be looking at where people are looking to rent on realestate.com and Domain. And obviously the higher the views per property means that the stronger the demand, I guess, it is when it comes to these individual suburbs. So we can see here that Blacks Beach has the highest online search interest rates in Mackay at 1,146, and then East Mackay has the lowest at 161. So we can see here that Blacks Beach sitting at first, and that's a red hot suburb when it comes to rental demand. And that's followed by North Mackay, which is only at 540. So Blacks Beach is virtually doubled in terms of the amount of people looking to rent in that suburb. And Number three, coming in number three, we have West Mackay. So, Black's Beach is almost 3 times, hotter than West Mackay in terms of demand. And look, I don't know what it is when it comes to Black Beach, why that rental demand is so high. I know it does have a lot of rental stock, like particularly around that Cove Estate area. There's a lot of rental properties available there, so a lot of people tend to go in there by default, given that there is an abundance of supply there. So there is a natural gravitation towards those areas where there is higher supply. But Blacks Beach has some good pockets as well. I think the other side of Blacks Beach Road or Vacation Road, whatever it is, on the northern flank is the more established area. That's a really nice residential pocket as well, close to the beach, obviously. A lot of good lifestyle drivers, so I can see why a lot of people may want to rent there as well, particularly if you're working away out of town on a mine. You want that kind of rural residential lifestyle close to the beach. I can see why that area will be very hot. But yeah, look, we've got the ones that are the lowest are East Mackay, Slade Points, and those ones you can see that not a lot of people want to rent in those areas. So I suppose if you are an investor, just tread the marketplace with caution, and go about making sure you do your due diligence on each individual suburb. But yeah, you're probably gonna if you're looking at buying in somewhere like Blacks Beach, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get a tenant in your property, no worries if you buy an investment there, guys. But yeah, guys, that's basically a breakdown of the suburbs that are in the highest demand when it comes to online search interest rates in Mackay. All right, whoo, you made it all the way to the end. Thank you, family, for tuning in. Look, I really hope you got some good value out of diving into those suburbs across Mackay, seeing what's hot, seeing what's not. Plenty of value there, I think, if you are looking to invest or to buy. At least you can start to prepare yourself now before you go in and navigate the marketplace. And if you were investing, at least you kind of know where the strengths and weaknesses are of individual suburbs and what suburbs are hot, so you can make a more calculated and informed decision before you pull the trigger there. But yeah, guys, as I said at the start of the video, no one does this sort of content. A lot of buyers agents don't give this information away for free, particularly the ones that are down south. The metro buyers agents that are, Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, they tend to buy a lot of investment properties in regional Australia for clients, but they don't give this information away to people for free. They never do, because they keep all this information close to their chest. Whereas me, I'm more or less giving it away to people like yourself that need help navigating the marketplace, and at the same time, just doing my part for the community with my community service content. But again, if you are, an investor or a home buyer that may be reluctant to buy in this market, or not fully confident that you want to buy in this market and you feel as though you need some help, feel free to reach out to me and the team. Book a call, jump on our website, give us a call on that number, and yeah, book in a time. We can have a preliminary consultation to see if we are even able to help you get from A to B. But yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next video. See ya and bye for now.